Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man!
All right! Episode 215 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Gabe from MAYB TMRW in New York. Let's go!
Hey, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Hey.
I used to have there was a press op that it was actually when I was printing out of my garage on a manual. Whenever he had it, like finally got it registered and got it lined up, he'd go, beautiful. He would say it really like loud and long like that.
My dad, ever since was it Ace Ventura, where he'd be like a glove or whatever.
Yeah,
my dad would do that like always, forever. Anytime anything like fits or is perfect or whatever. Dad stuff.
How are you, man?
I'm fucking exhausted right now. I came to work and I just was doing my thing, and then my dad texted me and was like, "Hey, I could use a hand," because he's building the garage shed thing for me at the lake.
Yeah.
He's like, "I can use a hand if you're free." And I was like, "All right, cool." Went up there. It is so fucking hot outside. He's up there shirtless, like working. He's got like fucking bandana on and shit. And like, I get there in like flip flops, black shirt, shorts. And we're like putting 2x4s in and doing Tyvek wrap around the thing and everything. And I am like, my shirt's got like tit sweat. Like I got like back sweat. I'm like, neither of us brought drinks or water or anything. Like, it's just,
what are you doing, man?
I don't know. I was there for like an hour and a half, and when I was like, I'm ready to get, he's like, "All right, I gotta get out of here." I was like, "Okay, me too." Got my car, and I just felt like a dead body. Like I laid there with the AC on like high. And then I finally got back to work. I like crushed some like iced tea. I got back to my desk and I was like, I feel like woozy. And then now I just feel like my body is like sore. So I think I just got a little overheated. You know,
I never get sore until the next day. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, but I don't think I'm sore from doing the thing. I think I'm like not necessarily sore, but just kind of like my body feels tired from just maybe getting too hot.
You know, I think that your drink of choice, you need to replace some electrolytes. And so iced tea is not going to do that.
Dude, I drink so fucking much.
Yeah, you need like, to.
I was thinking about that last night. Me and Brian and my son went to Roadhouse, and then I got iced tea there. I've had iced tea all day. Got iced tea there. Asked for an iced tea to go. Got in the car, put the iced tea to go in my cup holder, and then we were driving. And Brian wanted to stop at Starbucks to get some like coffee or something because we were gonna come back here and play games. And I got an iced tea at Starbucks, and then I realized when I grabbed the iced tea at Starbucks, I was like, I don't know where to put this because I already have iced tea in my cup holder. So I put one in the door, one in the thing. Came back here, put the Starbucks in the fridge, and I already had an iced tea in there from earlier today. And then, so I have 2 in cups in the fridge. I've had 4 of these today. And this is my 4th one.
Hey, we need to do an intervention here real quick. So promise me that you will just drink some water, just some straight H2O.
I do that too. I have my bottle.
Well, no, you fucking don't. You just told me what you did, and was just iced tea.
In between these, and I also have this little koozie on my.
What do you mean? So you have a little sippy sip of water, or do you have like that much water? Sip.
I have like this much water.
Okay, because I'm worried about you. That's too much iced tea, and that's probably why you feel a little woozy. Is because you need real water, and then also maybe consider something that adds a little electrolytes back in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or it's just because it's 95 degrees outside in the sun.
Okay, sure. We'll just say it's that, and you'll be fine. We'll just ignore all the other symptoms. Yeah, and you're going to be fine. Sure.
I'm good.
That's what everyone says right before they die. Yeah, perfect. Oh, Dylan, you took care of that. And then everything else fine, like your stress level, anxiety level, we're all good here. Should we do a little meditation? Because I have a new one. I sent it to you. I sent it.
You sent me what?
See, I know I'm no Jared. I get it. I'd only send 1 meme a day, maybe. If you're lucky, you get a meme.
Oh, was it the one you sent last night to Upstate one or whatever?
I want to say the kid was like 10 years old or something. And they go to business school. So like they don't go to some bullshit school like I went to, like, oh, we're going to do, whatever. We're going to talk about science. Although I did like that. I need to think of something better.
I
Hold
haven't
on,
seen
what-
this, but I think I know what video you're talking about. Is it where the kid's talking about what is he fuck was he talking about? He talks
investment
about, like,
properties. or
investments,
something?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
So he
exactly
was
what you're talking
like,
about.
so I think I don't mean to shit on and hate on our school system. I think that it's important.
do.
We have to learn
Nope.
addition,
It's dog shit.
subtraction,
Just say it's dog
multiplication.
shit.
But for the most part, it's dog shit. Most of it is. And so
Yes.
I think that like this kid is in some school where he just does the bullshit stuff. Then they go and he's talking investment properties and like the cap rates and stuff. And he's got all the terms down and he knows how to look at and analyze and assess like what property is better than the other. He's like 10. You know what I'm saying? Like when we were 10, I was like outside in in the dirt with Matchbox cars and stuff. And that's fun.
Well, that's the problem.
But-
That's why we're at where we're at now.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, I'm all for it. I think that
I won't talk politics. I won't talk religion. I don't like to talk about either of those things, but I will talk all day long about how
our school
people
system,
need to be I guess shit like that. Yeah. About how we need to do something differently.
I think we just should have been born into rich families that sent us to private schools or something where they probably do teach all that kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah. So did you need to? Oh, so we're talking memes. So I sent you this. It wasn't a meme. It was another video, and it talked about the 4-7-8 breath. Did you see that one?
No,
You said
show
you
me.
did. Gosh, dang it. Okay. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Okay.
So this 4-7-8 breath, and what it accomplishes is really cool. I'll try and lead you through this. I've never done this with anyone before, but here we go. Ready? So
That's what they always say.
I'm a virgin.
I've never done this kind of thing before. And then it's okay.
Sure. Wow. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. So here's what you do first. Here's what you're going to do first. Ready? You're going to breathe quietly through the nose for 4.
Like in, out 4 times.
No, for 4 seconds. Sorry. So you're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. So breathe in through the nose, 4 seconds. Then hold the breath for a count of 7. Then forcibly blow air out through your mouth for the count of 8.
What do you mean forcibly? How the fuck do I forcibly breathe out?
Like, not just like slowly, but just like really breathe it out for 8, all the way out. Not just a normal breath. Yeah, Zoom doesn't pick that up, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's try this again. Because you're supposed to do this 4 times. So you can do it again. 4.
Okay.
So you're going to breathe in through the nose for 4. Hold it for 7. And then just breathe out through the mouth for 8. Yeah, so this is supposed to be the most powerful anti-anxiety measure that there is. It's not supposed to put you to sleep. No. We went too far. We did it too many times. But really, you're just supposed to do that for 4 times. Let's say you're stressed or you're anxious or whatever, and you just need to chill. Well, you do that for 4 times, 4 rounds of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 cycles, and it's supposed to rapidly change whatever state you're in, that state of anxiety, into a state of calm.
Have you ever done that Huberman one where you take a deep breath and then you do that like a couple more sips of air because you can always get a little bit
deep,
more and then hold that and then exhale it all or whatever? I feel like that works.
Are you saying you don't like my 4-7-8?
I mean, sure, I love it. It's just I'm saying that this other thing is like a little.
I don't know. Hurt my feelings a little when you brought up that one, and then as if mine isn't this method isn't very good.
No, it's great.
No Huberman.
I feel amazing.
Fuck Huberman. This is good. This is good stuff, and I think it works. So you should try this. Give it a shot. Next time you're stressed, do the 4-7-8.
Right.
It's been working for me. It's been better than the box, even though that works. I don't like how it's the 5-5. Everything's 5. I like the 4-7-8. That makes more sense for me.
Okay. You like switch it up. You like the randomness.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
How's the Kong?
It's really good. We had, there were flash floods here, not just at our shop, but like in St. Louis yesterday. It rained crazy hard, like the hardest I've ever seen it. Inches. Like they had to close roads when I heard fire engines, and there was a fire engine with hauling a boat, like a rescue boats. Like that's real. That was really happening. People were they were stranded in their cars because it flashed. So when it flash floods here, there's so many rivers, right? And streams and whatever it is, and they overflow, and then the sewers overflow, and then it covers the road. Like maybe there's a bridge going over the creek or the stream or the whatever.
And then there's always those people in their Honda Civics that thinks they can make it through it, and then they get stuck in the middle.
Yeah. Like I got to get to work or I got to get to the vape store, wherever they're going. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Idiots.
They got to go rescue them. But it was, And so what happened here was, I could show you pictures, but you wouldn't be able to see, but it flooded in our shop. And it sometimes does that, but very rarely. And I don't mean like flooded. I mean like a little water comes in at the overhead doors, but this time it really came in. Yeah.
This year has made me evaluate things a little bit differently as far as what do we do? I mean, you're different. You have AC and everything else, but like this by far has been the hottest year I've ever experienced. Like we've had so many days where it's like mid 90s and like humid and like gross, and to not have those things is starting to become a problem. Like we've taken maybe 5 days off or left around lunchtime because it's too hot for them to work.
So it gets hotter in the afternoon, obviously, and that's when you shut down. Yeah. Like, so it was over 100 in the shop yesterday. That's too much. Like that kills production, and
everyone's mood is awful, and it's like I'm trying to look into what to do now.
So I've said this, and it really hasn't affected you like you said, because your summers don't get quite as hot and as humid as it does for people on whatever latitude, longitude, whatever, if you're St. Louis or lower, dude, I mean, it's incredible. And so I don't know how we would function without AC in production. It just wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't be able to, people wouldn't want to work here. I mean, they would quit. And over time,
well, I know there's people that are like listening to this and like, oh, it's fucking, 100 degrees here every day and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, but we're not used to that. We're like just south of Canada. Like we're used to it being like 75, 80 degrees. When it's 95 here and it's humid, like you can cut that fucking water in the air with a knife and you're working in it. It's disgusting and hot and gross, and our bodies aren't built for it. So
no,
I'm trying to figure something out. And also so humid that I don't think like a swamp cooler would work, because they don't really work when it's humid.
No. So here, I'll solve your problem. Air conditioning.
Yeah, that would be a big undertaking here.
I mean, not as big as you think. So what we have done, we have lots of rooftop units, but we supplemented with 2, I guess, ground units. So sort of like they're not commercial, they're for your house. And they're giant, I don't know, like a lot of SEER, like 20 SEER, really efficient AC units, and that's all they are. And so they aren't like heating and cooling. It's just cooling.
Just AC,
just AC. And so you have this air handler that basically looks like this. It goes up and then just goes like this, and it just dumps 5 tons of AC it never turns off from in the morning until at the end of the day, I guess.
You'll have to send me a picture of it, because the funny thing is it's been on my mind for the last couple of weeks. And I went to Syracuse, has this really big mall. It's like Destiny USA Mall or whatever. I went there this weekend with my daughter for her birthday, and we went it was Build-A-Bear, actually. It's a pretty big store, and they didn't have AC like in the store. They had those units. It was like, I don't know, it was like size of maybe like a mini refrigerator, not a mini one, but like a mid-size refrigerator. And they had it ducted out, like it was like a
portable?
collapsible. Yeah, it was portable. And they had like a collapsible duct on it that went through the ceiling. But like that's all that was. It was just like a huge AC unit. And I was like, I wonder if I just got like a few of these, if it would.
No,
I'm not looking for it to be like 60 in there. I'm looking for it to be like
I
go from 100 to fucking 85.
Yeah. So I bought mine in the peak of expensiveness because it was during the supply
You bought it in
shortages.
midsummer and hot. Everybody's looking for it.
Well, in like 2020 or something, when after the world had shut down and then everything came back on, there were supply chain shortages, and so you couldn't find the units or whatever. So mine's a real unit, like a home unit. And I want to say it was like $9,000, and it was $9,000 installed. And it was that much money because it's super efficient. The most efficient one you can buy.
That's what I would research the hardest, I think, is the way to, like, I want them to cool down, but I don't want it to cost me like $5,000 every month for my electric bill.
Oh, it won't. Doesn't even cost that here for the whole building. It's not 5,000.
You know what I'm saying? I understand, but I'm just saying I don't want to go from nothing to now we're spending thousands of dollars a month to cool everything down.
Yeah, I want to say I one time extrapolated. Is that what you say?
Yep, sure.
What's that word? Say it for me.
I don't think I would have said extrapolated, but
yeah, that's what it is. And I figured it was something like, was it to cool the entire place during a work day is $100. Roughly. I would just estimate, so if you do it, so if there's only 20.
But I only need it maybe a month and a half a year.
Oh, well, we need it way more than that. Fuck. Like it's on.
But that's what I'm saying. Like right now in July, like if I just used it July and August.
Oh,
that's why I'm thinking like these big mobile units, because then I can just wheel them into the trailer when we're not using them. And then when we need them, we wheel them out, hook them to the wall or whatever and go.
We're on May, June, July, August, September. I use it 5 months a year. It's on. Yeah, it's got to be here. And
Before
what
July,
I'm saying though,
like 75, and then after August, September, it starts to be like 70 again.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Is for us, it's $100 a day, 20 days, 20 business days a year. It's 2,000 a year, a month. That's 2,000 a month roughly. So it's not 5,000, and that's the entire shop.
Right.
So, with dryers going and flashes and all that bullshit. All right. Enough of that talk.
Yeah.
Enough.
Okay.
Did you call Frank?
I have not called Frank in a bit. I text Frank more than I call Frank.
Well, maybe you should call him. He'd probably like that. I think you'd feel good.
I bet he would.
So, you want to call him now?
No.
Look, it all starts with a screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com,
Frank.com.
Don't take my parts. Don't do it. I was going to say it.
You weren't.
Yeah. Just give me space. Give me some space.
Mm-hmm.
Or
greatfuckingscreens.com.
Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it way more funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will make reclaiming screens a whole lot easier. Check them out at easyway.com. EasyWay.
It's the easiest way, baby.
GraphX is the source for production-ready digital art and remote art staffing. We use them every single day. They can help with any size shop from just starting out to enterprise level. They got you. Learn more at graphxsource.com.
Mm-hmm. Or 1-900-HOTStuff.com.
Yeah, one of those two.
Or just give Nick a call. Like he's just even if you don't want to use Graphics Source, call Nick just to hear his sweet voice, and you will end up using Graphics Source because you just want to hear more from him.
Right. Choosing the writing motion for your shop is complicated, and that's why we love Chromaline. Go to chromaline.com to watch Kev's vids or contact him on Instagram at the Emulsion Guru and get the answers you want. And
I'm trying to think of a good thing.
Well, think of a good thing when I'm reading that. It's coming, and then you just.
It's just pure warmth to hear from Kevin. Is all. So
okay, that's great, good one. All right, so S&S has been our go-to apparel source since day one, with over 85 brands to choose from, including American
Is this
Apparel.
our new thing now, where you're going to make me recite a bunch of?
Well, just say some words. Yeah, say some things. You know how to do it. You're really smart. I have faith.
Let me think. Well, we were just talking about going to the SNS preview. I was talking about that yesterday. And I told them they really need to, sit down with all the reps for each of the brands and dive into them. Like normally we just get to see what's available on the site, try it, have customers try it. But this is where we get to actually like get into the gritty with these people and be like, why should we use this? And what are the benefits of this? And what's new and whatever. So, I mean, there's a million brands on there that are all really good, and SNS kind of vets them to make sure they are really good. So I don't have all the answers, but just go to snsactivewear.com and look at them all for yourself. And if you're not using SNS for your daily ordering, then fuck are you doing?
I'm sitting here, and those who aren't watching and listening, I'm looking at Dylan, and he has his arms on the top of his head. And I was thinking, because he was saying how badly he was sweating earlier, and the shirt was soaking it all up. How does that? Do you wear cologne?
Dry.
Do you wear any
cologne deodorant? You mean?
No, not deodorant, just cologne. Like, do you spray a little spritz of?
No, it's just pure man musk.
I'm glad. I'm so glad I'm like 1,000 miles away. All right.
I don't smell. I smell wonderful. I smell like a fucking lumberjack. I smell like wood.
Like a Sasquatch?
And man sweat.
A little bit.
If you were here right now, you'd be all over me. That's what I smell like.
You want to talk about our buds over at Gildan?
Gildan.
Mm-hmm.
Today's episode is sponsored by the OG of the shirt game, American Apparel, the original go-to tee of the industry, the original premium tee that has inspired all others. AA is back. Make American Apparel your go-to for premium blanks. They have a lot of really new, cool stuff, and they're doing some really good things right now too. Even with these ones to watch events and stuff that they're doing with these live bands, they're putting on some really cool stuff.
Yeah, baby. Or what do you usually say at the end of the thing? Yeah, yeah, baby. Does that sound good? Put
It's
that
so
in
much better coming from you.
And of course, Screen Print GPT. You definitely need to sign up for this free. I can't say that enough. Free problem solver. Or you're missing out. Matthew Michael Marcotte he's like on the frontier, is what I would say. He's like he's on an expedition. He's exploring.
He's on the Oregon Trail of AI screen print.
Yeah, and he's like way out.
He's gonna get dysentery.
Where the Oregon Trail ended, he started. He picked up, and where it left off, he's forging a new trail. That's what I'm trying to say.
Perfect. What do we got today, bud?
D, my guy.
I love when you do that because it's so like,
like bro.
It makes me feel so weird in my chest. Someone calls
tight,
says my guy to
tight
me.
In their chest, tighter. Sort of. You need to do a 4-7-8.
Almost like you walked into a room at a family reunion by yourself, and you turn around and your creepy uncle walked in and locked the door behind you. That's how it makes me feel.
Turns off the light.
Yeah.
Today, we are talking to Gabe from MAYB TMRW. He's in New York. He's kind of by you. He must be going through the same sort of heat wave bullshit, but it's been a while. And we wanted to check in, and let's hype him up. Let's hype up our bud, Gabe. And we're going to do one of those like, Gabe, we used to do like, so.
When did we have Gabe on last?
It's been years.
Yeah.
Years.
You
ready? We're going to let him in, and we're going to hype him up.
We are.
Ready? Yeah. So ready?
Okay.
Tell me when. You ready?
Gabe. So hype. Gabe. It's like anti-hype.
Such a lame intro.
It's so creepy. There he is.
Whoa.
What's
Hey
up?
Hey guys.
Hey.
I noticed it said we're recording. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to go right into it. We figured you knew what you were doing anyway, so it's not like we have to
He's a veteran.
Figure it out or anything.
Well, last time we did 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes not recorded.
That's true. We did.
Oh, did that happen? Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That was you.
Time. Yeah,
So
that was me.
we were just wondering how long it's been, and we were guessing at least a couple of years.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that the other day. I think it was probably about 2 years now. Yeah. You guys are just rifling through them.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we think about that every so often. I'm like, oh, I've been doing this for what, like a year and a half. We're like, no, 4.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's a long time.
Every Monday, every week, talking to this asshole for like hours. And that's on top of the other times that we talk. So
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's a lot of time.
It's a lot. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you do it.
It's so mature now.
What's different with you since the last time I mean, we know things behind closed doors, but like what's new for the people who don't know?
I mean, we've been through a few different staff changes as everyone, but right now we've got a pretty good team. Embroidery's going strong. We've done 9,000 bucket hats recently. That was a big to do with embroidery. That was a fun one to kind of figure out. It basically ate out embroidery.
Aren't bucket hats one of those things where people, a lot of embroidery places turn them down? Like they don't want to do them because they're a pain.
Yeah, and we prior to this, we were using actual cat brackets to strap down our bucket hats. You'd have to manipulate the brim a little bit to get them in there, but we splurged and bought the proper bucket hat drivers for that, and it made all the difference in the world. It just changed the game for it. It makes it pleasurable to do. However, there's definitely a learning curve. It's 2 pieces, so that's a little weird. You trap one on and trap the other one on. But I mean, at the end of the day, these just simply said cat person. So it was pretty straightforward, pretty easy. It was just kind of had to have the have the text centered and straight, and that was it. But yeah, it just was like 8-hour days for 30 days straight or something like that. It was a doozy. But
you saying you bought that attachment for the bucket hats made me think about this question. Have you ever, for your shop, either of you, have you ever purchased a piece of equipment, like a significant piece of equipment, to get a job? Or maybe you got the job, maybe you bid on it, you got the job, and then you bought this piece of equipment so that you could run that job. Like that equipment cost maybe so much that you didn't even make any money on that job, but now you have this piece of equipment. Like, have you ever done anything like that?
I have, absolutely. I've also bought stuff that I've never used again since. That's always a big one.
Yeah, true.
Mostly, I would say embroidery is a good one because, you're buying certain hoops for things. We bought sleeve hoops, did them 2 times, haven't used them since. I mean, sometimes you use a long sleeve hoop just to do a little cuff piece. But the best thing I can always think of that's still sitting on our racks up there is when we're manually printing the jacket hold down, that bracket.
Yep. I have mine sitting on the fucking top shelf over there. I hate it.
I was going to say, I bought that just because I was on the internet and saw it. This was forever ago. And I bought it because I was like, this is something I'm going to need. And when I need it, I'm going to have it. Literally never used it.
No, DTF on jackets at all times.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, and now, since we don't have a manual, our smallest press is a 10. I have to buy 12. I would have to get 12 of them, or I guess maybe 6 and then double index or something. And, they're not cheap. Yeah. And so I don't know. And jackets are no fun, to actually screen print on. So like you said,
DTF all day long on that.
God, no. Yeah. And I mean, but to that conversation, when we got the new press, I think, since last time we talked, we had the M&R Sportsman, and we've switched to the Rock. We have a Rock Next 1214 now. And buying all new pallets for that. So we bought bandana pallets, we bought double sleeve pallets. And, for years we were just saying no to sleeves, and now we do them again. But of course people are asking, 20-inch long and, hem to hem. And it's like, we do 18 max by 3.5, and that's a nightmare, but it's nice to be able to do that.
That's what I was going to say. That's what we do is it's like, we went through a ton of sleeve pallets, like different configurations, the ones where it's like rounded, but it's like 6 inches on one side, 4 inches on the other. So you can get like the majority of it on, but like you can flip it and use, it tapers so that you can use the fat end for like the end of like t-shirt sleeves. So you can get like a bigger end. And then we did the double sleeve pallet, which we always had issue with because if they flexed at all, one side would be different than the other. And you always want to try to do 2 at a time. That was a whole nightmare thing. So, and that was again, like buying a ton of, they're expensive too, like getting them all. And then you have to get this like hang hook to put the rest of the shirt on. And then after all of that, we ended up just going back to the original, like the 4-inch straight sleeve. And that's the best. And now we just say, again, that goes back to like, you don't know what you don't know until you buy all this
Yeah.
shit and find out what works and doesn't. And then you end up, you're like, okay, these are our limitations. And like Gabe was saying, like we get so many like customers now that are like, you know, like a, I don't know, like a horror brand, whatever, where they want the sleeve print to be like 6 inches wide and like 20 long. It's like, now anytime we get anything like that, I'm like, we can do that, but now it's DTF because we have the sleeve pallet for the heat press, and we don't have to worry about stretching it or registration issues or whatever. Like if you want the 3 inch by 18, we can do that, or 3 inch by 16 or whatever we want to do. Anything above that or specialty now, it's like
having the conversation as well about, you know, well, you want this 20-inch print, but you're also ordering smalls, you know, like, and then you're ordering 2XL. So considering that sleeves are just always going to be the anomaly, right?
That was the problem with sleeves. Is on the smaller ones, you're stretching to get them on, especially on an M&R arm with the bottom bracket and everything. You're stretching the shit out of it, and it's like, it's not. It can't be right. It can't be good. But now, like I said, we just slide it on this arm and we heat press the thing on it, and it looks great. And it's like, okay, no issues, whatever. Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got the new press. What else is different? Anything major?
So, well, we were about to have a major difference, but I'm sure you guys know Nicole from Embellisher. I don't generally buy any used equipment. I always buy new. And this was the first time the deals are just too good right now, right, in the used market. And she had a gas dryer pop up, and the prices are just insane. So we jumped on it. We threw the deposit down, had it fully funded, everything. And hadn't heard from her for a week or so. And then I got a call one afternoon, and I think she felt so bad. She was just like, this is a one, in a million times if something like this happens. But basically the shop selling shut the doors, locked everyone out, locked the banks out, locked everybody. They can't get the equipment. And she's, felt super bad. But we were also having a little bit of issues on our end. We're super busy, but like, we're having issues with our building and penetrating the roof. So we just figured we would get it here, store it, figure it out from there. Possibly.
So you weren't necessarily ready for it. You weren't.
Yeah, we were just kind of. Yeah, we were juggling, how we were going to go with that, and so to me, I was just kind of like, you know what, it's totally fine. She was so professional and so sweet about it, and.
Nikki's fantastic.
So good to work with. Yeah. I would highly recommend Embellisher for any used equipment. She just handles it like a pro. A little plug there. So
Gabe, you were adding a dryer, or you were going to swap out whatever dryer you have now?
Yeah, we were going to swap out. So that's where our biggest inefficiency is. And we have such an inadequate dryer. We're still running off a infrared hot rocket. And we have to run low and slow. We're all water based, so we have to run that thing super slow. We're doing a large scale print. We are so bottlenecked. We are still a shop that's not, we're not scheduled so tightly that things kind of hurt us like that. But it's hard when you're standing there waiting. Like that's got to be the worst. But so it was nice. We were looking at having that gas chamber, 10-foot.
And it was a longer, I guess, like a longer chamber too.
Yeah. But it was, So I think it was a 10-foot chamber on that one. Versus now I think we're on a 36. So we're literally like, we're running the voltage at like 10.
So why were you worried about cutting a hole? You exhaust through the roof now currently, right?
No, so we have nothing through the roof. We have a vent through the wall that we just installed, but that's it. So we're in an internal space, and that's the big fight here. Is that I'm in a really like kind of peculiar situation. I moved out of the city, right, to move upstate and kind of be able to like live a life and stuff. But essentially, New York City moved upstate, so everything here is expensive. Property is insane. And I mean, Dylan, I think you're familiar with Hudson. It's like,
well, I was gonna say it's funny, like where
paradise.
I 100% exactly what I was just gonna say, because, and I was gonna bring that up during this, like everything I see on Instagram now that's like travel wise or visit here or whatever, it's all Hudson Valley. It's like, come follow me through the Hudson Valley to this thing. And it's like someone's like some girl like twirling through some town and it's like, dude, everything is Hudson Valley. It's like Hudson Valley this, Hudson Valley. It's like, dude.
Yeah. It really is, and I'm finding myself doing funny work too. Based around that. Like we had a nice old woman call up and get some Strawberry Festival shirts, and she put it in a 200-piece order, 3-color print, and it was great. And now she called me the other day, wants shirts for Corn Festival. So it's like I don't know, it's funny.
Corn,
but,
like KORN.
you can't buy a building.
Yeah,
Corn?
corn. Like,
I wish. No, like
Do they have a festival?
hell yeah, that's
it's all Adidas. Yeah. So anyway, like, Tony from Tiny Fish, he was down here. Like we've kind of become good friends and chat a lot. And he was down one day where I was riding him around town, showing him buildings. And he's like, I don't know how you even bought a building. You got to buy a building. And, what we pay here is dirt cheap. It's so cheap. Our electric bill is $32 a month. So I don't really know what's going on there, but it's really hard to think about buying or building a building and, increasing your overhead by, $3,000-$4,000 based on what we're paying here. We're kind of suffering through it, but it's coming.
We all know Tony Tiny Fish, and we always talk like such nice things and say how he's so awesome. Can we just like all shit on him for a minute? Just like, I think it would be like, he doesn't deserve all the nice accolades every time. So let's just say how, Tony fucking sucks. Like that guy, you put up with this shit.
Such a dick.
I won't say it. I love Tony. I have no issue.
We were on our way to meet him and his wife for dinner in Beacon. I think it was Beacon. Yeah. And as we're leading in to dinner, I'm telling Tanya, I'm like, yeah, Tony's the most Italian guy you'll ever meet. He's so Italian. And we get there and Tanya's just like, guy's not Italian. And then we're talking about it later. He's like, oh, I'm Portuguese. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. Yeah, totally Portuguese. So the whole time,
Andy's vegetarian. So like, he's not like, he can't be like, I need a meatball or something.
So,
yeah,
hey,
he's still not Italian.
Before we get into today's topic, and maybe this topic will completely change to this new topic that I have here.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Sticker Mule for a minute?
Oh God, no. Don't want to.
Yeah.
Can I say no? Can I admit that?
Yes, you can say no. You can choose to no comment. But I think that this is an interesting topic because, wow, I think that they've probably made there has to be memes already, but I would say that they probably have a new term, and you can call it, hey, you just sticker muled yourself or something, because this is like the biggest, I can't even believe the comment section, and it's wild. I saw a couple of posts following it too. And I don't know.
For the people who don't know, if you don't know, tell them what happened. You're just saying sticker mule. Yeah,
so Sticker Mule, obviously, I would say everybody in our industry knows.
There was the Trump attempt assassination, and then Sticker Mule decided to make, and I ordered quite a bit from Sticker Mule, and I would get the emails of like, hey, this is on sale, or get 100 stickers for $10 or whatever it is, and all these other things. Then all of a sudden we all got an email that was like very like Trump, whatever email.
Yeah.
Well, more than that. So I think it was, first of all, an Instagram. And I think there was also an email. And then wasn't it that people were upset in the comments that they were selling a shirt. Oh, yeah. A text also. And so I think it brings up an interesting point. And that is, as a business, do we say our political views or religious views or our personal views about anything? And why would we, unless you're a business that's specifically catering to, I guess, whatever issue that you want to talk about? So I don't understand why it even happened or how it blew up like it did. I guess I understand how it blew up, but I mean, it's a crazy thing just to witness all that happen, for me anyway. And I think that I was just interested to hear what you guys' thoughts were, if you wanted to share.
I have something real quick, Gabe, if you want me to go.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm trying to tread lightly on these topics.
Hey, we're not live. So we can edit
the thing is like, I am the least caring. I'm the least caring person. I'm not a political person. I'm not a religious person. I stay far away from those topics. I don't know. I'm not the person to talk about things that I don't know about, but it's just like, why insert yourself into that thing when you're immediately going to cut your customer base in half. Like if people care about that shit, no, they're either going to go the Trump way or they're going to go the other way. And it's like, why would you even say anything? Like with one email, he just like demolished his business because now it's blowing up to this whole controversy thing. And sticker mule is one thing, whatever. I don't care. The more thing that hurts my heart out of anything that has to do with people opening their mouths about this is Tenacious D. Did you see the thing with Tenacious D?
Yeah, they canceled the whole tour. They canceled the tour.
He canceled the band.
Australia,
They're done.
like kicked them out or something, right?
They're done. Like they had a new album they were gonna do. It's over. Like they're not doing anything anymore. It's all over.
Yeah.
And what happened was basically it was Kyle's birthday, and Jack brought out a cake. And, you know, on stage at a show in Australia, and Jack was like, "Oh, you know, make sure you make your wish or whatever." And Kyle said, like, "Don't miss Trump next time." And then basically now it's done. Like the Jack was like, "Oh, well, we can't have this. Like everyone's gonna kill us." Like whatever. So now like Tenacious D's done, tour's done. But even that, like thinking of that, how many people are involved in the tour? Like the roadies, the bandmates, like all these other things. Now, like that's all done for them. It's done for Jack. It looks bad on Jack. He has like obviously a monster career, like in the movies, and now it looks bad on him. And it's like, because you did like 2 seconds of like sharing a heavy opinion, like just shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah, here's
you
the
can
thing.
have these things, just don't tell everybody about it. What does it gain you? Anything.
One thing that bothers me about it, and I guess about the internet, and that is that you know, they're free. Whoever posted that from Sticker Mule is free to post whatever they want. That's their prerogative. If they want to state their opinion, they can. We're in America, right? We can do that if we want. We have that freedom. But what I think is terrible are the people who then threaten the life of everyone that works there or something and tells you to kill yourself
for
and all this kind of stuff. And I think that that's the saddest part. I mean, it's one thing to say about your business and take a stance, because maybe they, like you said, maybe they lose half of their business, but maybe they gain another half because people are like, oh yeah, well, we really like you because we also support that or whatever. I don't know how that works out marketing wise.
Bumper stickers.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I mean, the saddest part is the death threat stuff. I mean, come on. I mean, you can go like on there.
Yeah.
The internet isn't new. Like you fucking know what you're getting into by like you're poking the bear. You're fucking hitting a
it's
bee's
true.
nest with a hammer. Like why are you getting involved? You make stickers.
You know, it can be a marketing thing too. Like, I don't know if you watched the Ashley Madison documentary, but one of the guys said, you know, the classic statement of no news is bad news. Is that right? Or something like that. They were like, you know, as long as people are talking about you, that's great. You know, it's stirring it up. It's causing a buzz. But I think that's just the state of the world now too. You know, it's like we live in such a small ecosystem of everybody has a say. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody else should follow suit. You know, I'm perfectly happy not being on social media. I mean, you have to be to an extent. I literally get on, I go to DMs, I chat, and I pop off. I don't really scroll anymore. You know, it's just a weird environment, and everybody just has these gnarly opinions that if you're not on their team, then, you know, forget about you. And it's, you know, like you said, the death threats, and it's bullying all over again. It's ridiculous.
But that's how I feel. That's how I feel about politics and religion and all this stuff. Is it's like, if you're not on our team, you're wrong and you should die.
Right.
Like, it's not like anyone else can have a competing opinion. It's like, nope, I'm either blue or I'm red, or I'm a, you know, this religion or not, or whatever. And it's like, people get killed over this shit. Like, guy tried to kill Trump. For, you know, if you don't believe in his shit, it doesn't mean you get to just kill him. Like,
and right, like we all have family. Like all our family's not on the same page, but like, what are you gonna do? You're not.
Well, like, even the guy who tried to kill Trump, it's like you're shooting into a crowd of people. You killed someone else. Like, what did that dude do? Like, you know, I don't know. The whole thing's just wrong. And I don't know. I have my own vibe of just trying to like keep the peace and keep the, you know, vibes light. And, you know, we're making t-shirts, like he's making stickers. Like, dude, why are you inserting yourself into this whole thing? And I don't know. I feel bad for people in these situations too. And I don't know if you guys saw this either. There was a channel I used to watch on YouTube, and I don't watch it as much anymore, but it was Demolition Ranch. And that dude owns a screen printing shop too. It's Bunker Branding. And they showed the footage of the shooter that tried to kill Trump or whatever, dead on the ground. He was wearing his shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he posted a thing like right after that, where they finally released the photo of the guy, like the shooter dead. He was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt. And his post on Instagram was like, well, fuck. Like now he has to deal with this whole thing of like, how was I involved in this scenario and everything else? And it's like, think of the world turned upside down on that stuff. It's like, I don't know. It just, I again, like we can talk about this, but like, I try so badly to be like in my little bubble in upstate New York, like just printing t-shirts, having fun. And
I think that's the greatest thing about it is that, you know, I go home from the shop and, you know, make a little something to eat, see my beautiful wife, hang out, and we go for a walk, and maybe we run into some neighbors and say hi, you know, how's it going? And that's it, you know, like that's a good, mostly it's a good world. Everybody's really friendly. You know?
And I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, I don't know if shutting the TV off or the Instagram or whatever it is off and just enjoying the life around you, there's another argument to that of like, well, you're not getting involved and we're not making change in the world and all this other stuff. It's like, well, isn't a lot of that just fueling the fire to piss off way more people that weren't involved in the first place to now be involved and have it be this whole cascading thing?
I think if you're involved in your community, you're changing the world. One little area, you can't change the whole world, right? I can't change the world, but if I focus on my community and help change that for the better, then maybe I am having this little tiny.
So here's the segue, changing the world and changing people's opinions. The reason why we wanted to have you on, Gabe, was you had kind of an interesting story. Do you want to dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think we all know them. It's just kind of pain point clients, right? I think that we all try. I mean, I've got a lot of notes here, so you may see me looking down a little bit to refer to them. Sorry. If you want to jump right into it, I mean, basically you know, I threw a post up one night. I was kind of pissed off, right? Of a client we had kind of held their hand for 2 months or so. She came into the shop. We went over some stuff and helped them pick the shirt, pick the colors. Over the course of this time, Michelle helped them pick the sizes, to help them with the design placement, everything from A to Z. And then, you know, the entire time, Michelle is following up and reminding her, hey, for your event by this date, anything beyond that, we're going to have to add rush fees. You know, those tend to get ignored and looked past, and the conversation keeps continuing on. And then it gets to that day, and we remind her that, hey, today is the day to get everything in. Well, I can't do that. I won't have it until this, you know, this next week or whatever. And, you know, Michelle lets them know that we've got a rush fee now. You know, we're gonna have to add 10% to this. A lot of times we'll push that back. You know, if they get us everything the next day or whatever, and it's fine. Like we'll waive it. But you know, her response just came back with that she had. We've been clear from the beginning about the penalties for the artwork delay. Our artwork is being prepared now, but the penalties are challenging for our budget. I'm moving forward with an alternative source for the shirts, a smaller firm that can take our project without penalties. So is what got me on that was the word penalties. You know, like that one word is flipping it around onto us as though we are
right. Like you're the bad guy.
Yeah. Like we're the bad guy. We penalized her for this. You know, when we did everything to help her get to that date. So, you know, I don't really know what you do in that sense. You know, you're reminding her of the dates. Her lack of planning isn't our place of penalty. You know, this is a fee that you incur if you miss this date, and it's just how it goes. But when somebody just writes you off so quick and short like that to all the work you've helped them get to then neatly package it and hand it off to the next shop. Maybe it's the garage shop, maybe it's an online space, who knows? But to just take that and drop that into their lap is an easy, oh, I don't know what's so bad about this client. This client's easy to work with. They got
all their stuff
prepared.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
until the
that's
next time they order.
I think that's the hardest thing for me to swallow, because that's what hits me personally the most. Is it just instantly reminded me of like when I was doing mostly bands and whatnot. And when they're a younger band that you're like, hey, I really like this band personally, and I'm working with them. And when they're a younger band, it's chaos. You know, they're like, I don't have any money and we need to sell merch to fix the van and blah, blah, blah. And you're doing like bending over backwards to like, help them get their designs together, get them merch drop shipped overnight to some venue. And you're doing all this crazy shit to like make sure they have merch. And then they finally get to the point where they're like a bigger band. They got a better budget. They got their shit together. That's when they drop you and they're like, oh, well, now my managers, we're going to go to this bigger label thing. It's like, dude, I fucking put in the hard work to get you to where you are organized.
You built the foundation.
Your merch looks like this. Your designs are all organized and everything looks good. Everything's done. And then as soon as you get over the hump and you're like, okay, I'm ready to, you know, do my glow up fucking blow up thing where now I'm buying thousands of everything, you leave us and you go somewhere else. And it's like, to them, it's just a business decision of like, well, this new place is 5 cents cheaper and, you know, they're this and they're willing to give me terms and this and this. And it's like, yeah, but what the fuck, dude? Like, we've been working together for like 4 years.
Managers, right? Is, you know, we worked with a few musicians that like we worked with personally, you know, on their way up, and they switched over to, you know, having a management team. And that's what happens. The management team has their place. And they go with them, and it's tough. You know, a lot of times the musician doesn't even know that they've switched. You know, it's just, oh yeah, our shirts are still coming. And that's how it is with agencies for us. You know, we work with so many agencies and so many producers. Some of them we never hear from again, but most of them you'll get an email from a new address, and they're at a new company and they take you with them. But bands is just so hard because it's just such a big market where, okay, we're going to use this place. We're going to use that place. I mean, I don't know what they use. I'm not super in with the music industry printing, but I mean, I know Brandon in Independent is just crushing it.
Right.
And it's a really unique space. And I'm actually thankful that's not the space I'm in, because it has got to be difficult.
Yeah, and I think even for what you're saying, though, it could be anybody. It could be the Strawberry Fest old lady. You know, she comes in and you help her get all her stuff organized. And well, even just teaching someone that doesn't know anything about ordering at all. It's like, hey, this is the ordering process. Like, these are the blanks you can use other than this basic T-shirt. And like, here's a maybe style of printing you never knew about. Like with you, it'd be like, all right, well, we do water base, and this is the difference in this. And you're doing all the education. And then once you get them like, okay, I know how to order shirts now. I know what I want. I know my style guide and all this other stuff. I have a tech pack. I have all this stuff together. And then they just take all that and they go, oh, I found a place that's 50 cents cheaper. Here's all this perfectly organized shit. So the question here is like, what do you do? Like, and I was reading through the notes that Christina made from talking to you, and you had some really good ideas in there as far as like, maybe they pay a portion of what the final order would be, not a fee on top of things. You know, it's not like a setup design fee. It's like, okay, you pay me $100 or $200 or whatever it is. That's just going to come off of your final balance, just so I have somewhat of a deposit.
It's like a deposit that you're saying. So one of the things, that he's come up with, and we do the same thing for art. We don't do it for consultation though, but it's like a deposit where they put down a certain amount of money. And if they, follow through with the order and place the order, then it's taken off the invoice. If they just walk and they don't ever come to you, well, then it's non-refundable. And so they know that up front, and that's a way to solve it. But we're the same as you, Gabe. So we'll consult somebody and hold their hand and show them as many different style shirts as they want. And we won't go to the art part of it yet or anything like that, but we'll tell you and sort of like what Dylan said is get you up until the final point where you're ready to order. And you hope, and most people don't. Most people, like, they understand. They're like, wow, you were really helpful. And they place their order, and they don't leave for the 5 cents or the 50 cents or $1, whatever it is. They just go ahead and place their order because they have confidence in you.
Our problem is the occasional big customer that just fucking bails. Like,
as Gabe
that's
put
what
it
we're
very
trying to figure out.
nicely, he said the pain point when we're really talking about like a customer from hell. That's more of what that is.
Yeah. The pain in the ass. And like, you know, like, that's why I felt bad. It was funny. I was actually shocked at how many people reposted it, responded to it, you guys. And, you know, actually later that night, I ended up pulling it just because we have, you know, integrated ourselves into such a small community here with small businesses who all support each other. And I was like, man, I don't want any of our other local customers thinking that that was them or that's how we talk about our customers. So I did end up taking it down, but I had a lot of conversations about it with people after that. And, you know, it was funny. Talking to Christina was great. I feel like we recorded our own episode in that like 2 hours we ended up chatting, but
she definitely
you know,
does that.
One of the things we chatted about is, you know, the process of doing business and creating those firewalls essentially is what I refer to them as, is how to kind of, you know, direct people like a pinball machine through these little navigational tracks to get them where we want to get them. And that deposit, something that came about years ago, working with agencies, you know, we're third party for those things. So we're doing something for HBO. You know, the agency we're working for, they approach us and they do all the due diligence with us to get the printing done for them. And they know the amount of work they're putting in, the amount of work we're putting in. And we just kept having those, you know, every so often those would just disappear. They'd either ghost us or, you know, one of them one time said, hey, we value the time that you put into this. So what's your kill fee? And I was like, that's a great question. And they said it, they were like, is it like 250, 200, 300? What are we looking at? And I just said 250. And from there, I wrote a one pager, making like a little, like a miniature contract almost, to say, hey, before we get digging into this, you know, where we're doing promo products, we're doing totes, t-shirts, hats, everything for these events. It's a lot of work. And, you know, we put it in writing to say, you know, if this project kills, this is our fee, and they would pay it happily. Now, we've been trying to figure out how you do that with your everyday customer. And that's hard because, you know, Joe Schmo from the Strawberry Festival doesn't necessarily have 250 to kick if you know, a tornado comes through and they're not going to have their festival. But we don't necessarily place that so much with everyday clients. We do kind of, you know, dictate which project by project that's going to be. You know, if there's a big project for a big agency for a festival or something, that's where we'll kind of stop and say, hey, this is our fee to consult this job. And, you know, if it goes south, this is just to cover our time and effort and energy that was taken away from other jobs during that time. And I probably should have covered in the beginning that last January when I missed you, Andy, at Long Beach, that with Dylan. But that January, I had hired a full-time salesperson, which we refer to as brand manager. She manages all of our clients, all of our sales, in-house sales, no outside sales. And she's been fantastic. Huge add to the business. Something I never thought about. Tanya kind of pushed it in my ear because I had recently lost a printer again. And I, you know, immediately just go to, I need to get a printer. I need to get a printer. I need to get a press op. And she said, well, you're working with Michelle already doing contract stuff where she does all your promo stuff for you. Why don't you see if she can do sales for the business? And we brought her on salary and it's been fantastic. Michelle handles all the clients, all the conversations. I'm kind of CC'd on them. She brings me in when needed. She handles the brunt of this stuff and she's starting to get it and understand like the same way I do it. The amount of work and effort you put into some of these people, big or small, it hurts. It hurts when, you know, they ghost you or they just, even when they do tell you we're going somewhere else, it's like, you know, why? What did I do? But it's coming down to price, but that's something we don't really negotiate. I don't know if you guys do either, but we've made the decision that we don't negotiate prices. I mean, I can't go into the grocery store and say, hey, milk's gone up. Can I get it for the old price? It's just, everything costs so much now.
I think that it's a shame that the email that you got wasn't one that just said, hey, I love working with you guys, and I've made my decision and we're almost there. I didn't expect and I didn't foresee or budget for this. She called it a penalty, but for the rush fee. Is there any way you can waive that this time? I totally get it, if you can't, but I'd still like to go with you. Instead, you got this email like, hey, I'm not going with you. And that sucks because we've gotten those, we've gotten those type of things where somebody does come back to us and say, hey, what's up with this rush fee? And then you can just say, you can make the decision to waive it. I mean, you probably would have knowing that she was going to walk.
The worst part for me is when they don't let you know they're at least looking somewhere else. You know what I mean? It's the worst. It's the worst when it's like, I can't fix this because you're already gone.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? When they're like, hey, we've already gone, like, we've had it so many times like that where we're quoting, like there's not this whole thing where we did a ton of work. We're just quoting back and forth. And it's something where you built up in your head of like, I've been quoting this person and working with them for like 2 weeks now. This is definitely going to happen. And it's a big order. It's like, okay, this is a $30,000 order or whatever. And then you're like emailing them like, hey, just following up. Like, I know you said you want to get it by this date. And then they finally email you like a week later and they're like, oh, we went ahead with like, it's already in production. We're going to have shirts in like 4 days. It's like, what the fuck? Like, why didn't you tell me that you were even, the thing is like, if they would have even told me at the time, like, hey, we're going between 2 different places, it's kind of tight, whatever, I might look for something where I'm like, okay, well, we can't go better on price, but we can get you a better turnaround, or like, we can do this or do this and like make sure it's our order. But it did not say anything at all and just be like, well, go fuck yourself. We found somebody else. That sucks the most. It's like instantly where you want to flip.
And that's what Michelle said too. Yeah. And that's what Michelle said. She was like, it wasn't even that. It was the fact that like, she's clearly been talking to somebody else the whole time. It's like you're being cheated on, it's like I'm in high school and I'm just like, cry in the corner, but
they don't understand how personal it is for us too. Like it's a small business. Like it's us you're talking to.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of it, we're human, we try to develop all these layers of protection and these like kind of automations to get people where we want them to go. We've created multiple forms, one for standard orders, one for rush orders on our website that feed right into Monday. We can change a status to get right back to them. But like, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like it's not gonna be the winning factor. People want a person and you want to be that person, and your feelings can get hurt. It's so hard to separate those feelings sometimes with, when you're putting all your energy into this person.
Here's a thought I just had. And that is, first off, I think you're right. The everyday customer, if we present to them, like if they come into our front counter or whatever it is, if they're emailing us, however they approach us for a quote, and if we know it's involved, even if it's just 15 minutes of work, if we said, hey, before we quote you, we need a deposit, I think 90% are going to go to the next shop. They're going to say, this is crazy. What do you mean? Like, I don't even know your price.
Nobody does this.
Like, I'll go somewhere else. And so I don't think that will work. I think we have to it's the cost of doing business. I think that what we need to be really good at is we need to be able to quote. We need to provide, some expectation of confidence that, hey, we can take care of this. It's going to look great. You're going to get your shirts on time, and the price is also fair. And I think that if we followed up with, those ones that you really care about or you've worked on maybe extra hard, if we did like a Zoom call, and I know that maybe some people wouldn't want to do that, it could just be even a phone call. And we could say, hey, here, I'm getting ready to forward this quote, and it's for whatever it is, $10,000. $5,000, whatever it is, and you've worked on it for a while, and I'm getting ready to forward this to you. And do you have a moment to talk about it? And so maybe they would say, yeah, and then you could forward it to them, and they could have objected right there and said, oh, what's with this rush fee? I didn't even know. You could say, well, we're down to the last minute here. We only have a few days, and it's going to require us some overtime, and I have to pay that to my whoever, and we're going to stay late and get it done for you. Maybe they would have said, okay, cool, I get it, I totally understand. Or they could have said, oh man, I didn't expect it to be so much. And you could have just maybe compromised and said, well, instead of, I don't know what your rush fee was, but if it was $500, you could say, well, it's only $250. Does that work for you? You know what I mean? If you have them like on the phone, maybe you can close it. And
you're making it more personal. Oh, we said
Yeah.
more personal at the same time.
Is that one of your firewalls, or is that a solution, or is this insoluble? I don't know. Maybe maybe you just can't avoid it. Maybe she was going somewhere else anyway. You know, the whole time she could have been. It was inevitable. I don't know.
Right, exactly. And you know, at the same time, it's obviously it's lost money, but it's not like it's the only job we have. You know, so it's hard. You got to kind of get over and move on. It was funny because just last night we had it happen again. I have a local client who had ordered some hats and their artwork just was not. One of the things we're finding with embroidery is, boy, you get a lot of inquiries about like stuff that just is not capable of being embroidered.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who's making this art, but it looks like it was made on, 95 Windows system. It's just
Hell yeah.
not going to work. yeah. And we're, so we recommended a local designer to help her out. And it just turned into this, okay, I'm going to put everything on pause and wait, push it off. We're sitting on these Richardson hats, which aren't cheap. They're not easy to get. And she writes us yesterday asking, you know what? Let's just go ahead and let's cancel this order. And she responded to the refund email, which, when, in our terms, we generally any work rendered, the cost of that, the restocking fee, the shipping fees, all have to come out of that refund. Now she comes to us and just essentially says, I do wish I was reminded of the terms page and the restocking fees. I wouldn't have canceled this order to forfeit $300. I would have just kept things on hold. Just a note from one hardworking business person to another. And it's just such a jaded response. And, I try to do my best with killing with kindness. And it's, you know what?
That was like
absolutely right. You're
that was like
absolutely
three
right.
sentences to say "fuck you." Like she should have just shortened it.
Yeah, that was 3 jabs. It's like fuck you.
Yeah.
And I wrote her back and I was just like, we take pride in our commitment to customer service, but you're right. You are right. Like we even though it's clearly stated in our terms on our website, maybe we should have just one last time reminded you that there are fees associated with canceling an order. However, if you'd like to keep that order on hold, we can send us a check for that amount we just refunded and we'll keep it on hold for you and you're all in. We have yet to hear back from her, but
yeah,
I'm just tired of it. When I was like young in this business, I would get so jaded and have such smart ass remarks, and it's just not worth it anymore. You're a business. You got to be.
I think there's two things to this as a takeaway for me is kind of like one, maybe instead of, getting our hopes up and doing this and this and this. And like Andy was saying is maybe we take a step back and we look at like, well, how did we get to this point where we had to work for 2 months to get this client to where they needed to be, to where they ended up leaving? Is like, how do we shorten that period? How do we automate certain things or just make things simpler in the beginning of like, okay, here's the pricing, here's the mock-up, here's the shirts I recommend. And then if they walk, like whatever. It's less hurtful. But the truth in the matter is, like you said, is we're small businesses, we're people and whatever. And when it happens to us as the business owner, it sucks. It's a knife in the back. It's whatever. But like we're committed to this business and we're going to just keep moving forward. We're going to shed one tear. We're going to wipe it and we're just going to keep going. The hard part is when it's the employee that you hired and it's not their business, it's not their whatever. And when they're working hard to try to get new clients and build their thing and get motivated to do sales, when they get fucking kicked in the teeth, now they don't want to do it anymore. They might get burnt out and they're like, well, fuck this place. I don't want to work here. I don't want to do sales. Customers suck. Because I hear that from my people and it sucks. Like it really sucks to hear is like when they have worked here for X amount of years or whatever, they're like, we get a new hire in. And it's always funny because it's like at some point they're professional of like, yeah, this is our workplace, this is whatever. But once they start to loosen up where they're like, well, fuck this customer and these customers suck. And this kind of person says this. And it's like, it's true. But it's like, that's how they feel is they're like, well, they're so beaten down on people that are dicks that it makes them unmotivated to do certain jobs or certain things because they automatically know people are going to be assholes. So it's kind of like, how do you take the personal part out of it? So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if there's a way to like you're saying, these firewalls or these like terms and condition things where it's like, or the deposit or whatever it is. Like, I don't know exactly what the answer is, but I think it's just a mix of all those things, and we're still going to have our feelings hurt regardless.
Yeah. And it's about a week ago, Matt Walsh from Prince Inc. He called me up about this specific client when I, had mentioned it online, and was like, let's just chat through that real quick. Like, how do we not let that happen? What is the solution here? And he's very focused on solutions, and I love that about him. And, my answer here is just like, I don't think there is one. I think it's just going to slip through the cracks, no matter how prepared you are. Every once in a while, it's just bound to happen. It's part of doing quoting and estimating, right? I mean, how many electricians do you call to your house that you don't follow up with? And I try to, even with those, tradesmen, I try to be like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I don't have the funds for that right now. Give me 6 months, whatever. Close out the conversation. But, we do have that specific chain of events with our quoting approvals process. We quote, and then once that's approved, they get an invoice. Once they pay that, we do the mock-ups. So we used to do mock-ups to try to help sell the job. And I may have been doing this prior when I chatted with you guys before, but like, that's something we're very, very, very stern on now. If somebody says, hey, I'd like to see it before I, make my payment, we charge them $75 per mock-up per page. And that amount will be deducted from their order if they place their order. It's non-refundable. If they do not place an order, they go somewhere else. But that just shows that they value our time, that they, value our efforts, and, that we're delegating that time towards them and not just getting free mock-ups and taking them somewhere else.
Well,
that one we're really, really strict on.
I mean, I don't feel as bad on this because it's an automated online thing, but like, how many times have we all gotten mock-ups from Custom Ink where it's like, can you just make this? Like, here, this is my artwork. And it's like, first of all, this isn't your artwork. This is something you created on their design tool. But it's kind of the same thing of like, we could do the work of, especially our mock-ups, of like, here's how it's laid out. And I put, it's 2 inches down, it's 4 inches down, it's this placement here. Here's all the Pantones picked. Order. It's a 12 color thing. Like, this is exactly what we need to take to the print shop or to the shop and say, print this. They could just take that, because we give them that and the invoice before we get payment. It's like, here's everything. Once you pay, you're approving both of these things, and we go forward. So it's like, if they don't go with us, they could easily just take that whole thing of all the work we did, and that's hours of whatever, and give it to somebody else.
Well, Christina had a good point about that, with like doing that in that manner of like providing a low res JPEG or something, it's watermarked. I mean, watermark isn't going to stop it, but at least it's so low res that they can't do anything with it. And then once it's paid, then you get the high res. But that works well. We really don't get pushback on that at all. And it just, I think it just protects your time.
I don't know. The only solution I can come up with is that if you've put in extra work for a potential customer, then I think it's instead of just sending an email or whatever, an invoice, I think that it's a phone call or a Zoom
personal.
or
make it personal,
something personal, so that you're
maybe you make a white lie and say, well, this is perfect timing for this order because actually my dad has cancer, and like the money from this is going to go to like save his life. So like, if you're ready to place this order now, that would really help me out.
Well, the funny thing about this particular client is they were sending an email to Michelle and calling her immediately after. Hey, let's go over that email. And she was like, I'm like knee deep in 10 other jobs right now. And then, she would call her and ask her to forward her emails because she couldn't find it. So, she was an anomaly of a client, but that's
the other thing I was going to say is that I think sometimes it's just going to happen. You said that. I think we've all said this during this recording, and that is that you're just not going to make certain people happy. They're going to take it somewhere else. Maybe their intentions weren't even to go to your shop in the first place. They were just trying to get whatever it was.
Another shop to do it.
Gabe, I don't think that's the case. They liked you too, bud. It's okay.
Maybe they're just stupid.
They weren't using you.
The good news is most customers, this doesn't happen. Most customers are easy, but we have this issue, and we thought it would be interesting to see about or just to discuss, like, hey, is there an option here? And I think we've come up with a few, and so I think deposits work. I think that maybe a phone call or a Zoom call works. I think that there's some options. And if anybody has any ideas for this, comment there, on YouTube. Give it is that what people say? Give it a like. Smash that like button.
Yeah,
go down there and comment.
They point to something, right? Like,
yeah, go here to do this thing.
One thing that I think we all talk about a lot, and is maybe a disservice to our business, but is AI and automations. Like, you just need to be a human. Like, automations can take you to a certain amount, but at the end of the day, you've got to be human. Like, the service we're providing shouldn't even be a question. Like, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be like calling FedEx, calling UPS, Amazon, or doing a live chat and the 1 through 6 options, don't answer your question and then you're hung up on. Like, you can only do so much with automations and AI, to the point where, like, you have to be a human with these customers. And I'm learning that more than anything here with these small businesses. Is like, they want to talk to you. They want to meet you. They want to know who's helping them or who's getting this stuff done. They want to know who to blame,
which is
it goes wrong.
Which is kind of funny too, because I didn't put these two together until just now, but I kind of thought about it in the time. Is like, I think my takeaway personally for my shop after this conversation is to make things more personal and to kind of let them know how much work we've put into this to maybe get a deposit or whatever. But I really like your approach. Gabe and Andy both kind of said similar things of like, they want to have a face to the name and they want to have it personal and maybe make a phone call, whatever. But we had recently all done this too, where we all kind of got like headshots done and did like the email signature with like our face or whatever, because I think that when they see that in all the emails of like, this is the person I'm actually talking to, this is what this person looks like, it makes it way more real.
Smart.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is Sarah. Like, this is fucking the person I'm talking to. And then when she calls, it's like, her bubbly face and whatever else. It's like,
you could say, this is Sarah, and her grandma is about to lose her house. And if you order, with me right now, she'll be able to pay off that.
She has a rare skin disease, and we're going to take all the funds from this thing and give it to her.
Did I read that part of that email with you where she said, I'm trying to put a deposit down on a house and it's I could use this money?
The best part is her headshot should have her like a tent in the backyard, like a background of her sleeping under a bridge.
All right. Yeah, this is we solved it. So everybody.
Yeah.
We got a very
homeless.
We got an ethical solution for you here.
Yeah. But that's it. I feel like we try so hard to make everything effortless so we don't have to put work in, but these are things that we do have to.
I think the personal touch makes it more concrete.
That's what's going to win. Yeah. Like starting a new website, a new shop, like you can go on and on and on about like your quality and all this, but like at the end of the day, it comes down to customer service. That is what we're finding. All of our reviews are coming from is, hey, we talked to Michelle. We love Michelle. Where's Michelle? And I'm like, she's 100%. In Nashville. She's remote. Like, but that's where we get all of our feedback is from customer service. So that's what we push hard now. Like, if you're not putting out quality prints, you shouldn't be printing. I mean, I don't need to say that we do quality. It's just, I'm going to say that we're going to hold your hand and be your friend.
Well, that's even here, like we have, you could work with us one time, but then when you call back, the first thing you do when you actually call the shop, if you call the front desk, is like, oh, I want to speak with Sarah or, Ashley or whatever. And it's like, they know that it's not like, oh, I'm at Upstate Merch, I want to reorder. It's like, no, where the fuck is Sarah at? Because I know she's going to help me with this and walk me through the process. Mm-hmm. So yeah, make it personal. So either it's a catch-22 because we make it really personal, and then when we do get burned, it hurts extra.
It hurts.
It's less common to happen, I guess, if we do all the right things. So,
agree.
Another quick one. On my way here this morning, I was talking to Michelle, and one of our customers was asking for something, by a certain date. We said, there would be a rush fee. I said, all of a sudden it turned around like, oh, no, it's fine. We don't need them by that date. Let's do this. Let's get the order in. And then today they reached out to Michelle and said, hey, turns out we're having a party this weekend. Can we get those hats by Friday? What do you think the chances are? And, it's a manipulation. It's like a customer manipulation thing where it's trying to like skirt the sidelines there. And it's like, well, like we're doing all right on our schedule, but it depends on what comes in the next few days, but we can't guarantee it. We'll try. But if you want us to guarantee it, put some skin in the game, you know, like let's see something from you.
I think that's one of the things. I think we talked about this a really long time ago, but it's like, what do you take from running this business into your personal life? And I've gotten in trouble for this too, but it's like, I never, ever give a hard date or time, or I'm going to be there at this. It's always, that might be doable. I'll do my best. Or
try to make it work.
You know, customer calls and says, when's my job on schedule? You say it's on mid to end of next week. I know it's on Friday, but I will never say Friday, because as soon as you say Friday,
100%,
they're going to call back and be like, you fucking said it was done Friday. And this and this and this. It's like, do not say that. Just say it's on next week. Like, that's the old under promise, over deliver. As possible with everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So people ask me personally all the time if I can do something or be somewhere or whatever, and I'm just like, it's doable, like it's possible. And that's just kind of like, it's possible, but I didn't say I was going to be there. So
you should make a T-shirt that says it's doable. Not I'm doable, but it's doable. All right, I have over unders. Are you ready? The first one, number one, we have is business cards. Overrated, underrated, or properly rated?
I have an opinion, but I want to hear Gabe's.
This was a comment you said, Dylan. This is Dylan.
Yeah, someone commented on Instagram and said over under should be business cards. So here you go.
Man, I'm really bad at business cards. I don't do them. I keep saying I will. I don't do them. I don't think they're overrated, but I do not use them, and I should. I actually got a dot card a while back. Never even set it up. I think business cards still hold ground.
Yeah, this is my number two. But I was going to say, whenever somebody gives me a business card, first of all, I don't want it, because I don't want to keep it. So I just say, can I just take a picture of that? And then I'll take a photo of it and then I have it. And then you can save an album as like a Rolodex. But I do have my number two. Oh, I think business cards are underrated.
Well, don't leave me out. Yeah, I got something.
Sorry. Yeah, you were talking about my QR code. Okay, so what do you have? Go ahead.
I want to say that there was a chunk of my career, especially in the beginning, I think it's happened maybe 3 times. It's like every 5 to 8 years or whatever, where waves of marketing strategies come back. And I feel like right now we're in, especially with us doing outbound, is old school ways are working again. Like business cards, mailing, phone calls, walking in. Like we had this maybe 2-3 episodes ago where we talked about that, but I feel like they're really working again. Business cards, I'm iffy on, just because, you're giving them to people and it feels cheesy, whatever. I do think that if you get really nice business cards or things that stand out, or if it's metal, or if it's got some weird pop up,
your picture
or it's made of wood, or it's it's something like, even the dot card thing is cool, because it's like, okay, cool. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to carry it. It's just on my phone. It's in my whatever. That stuff's really cool. So I do think it's important to have that stuff, because if you don't have it at all, and you're just like, oh, it's not that big a deal, when you do have that person that you're talking to at a trade show, or even if you go to like Comic-Con or whatever, and they're like, you're talking to that, like I've had that where I'm talking to somebody, I really want their business, and I'm just walking around and they're like, oh, hey, do you have a business card?
Gotta get that business card.
And you're like, fuck, I have nothing. Like, and then it's like, do they remember you just from that conversation because they had 900 of them that day? Or what? So you do need something. Like, you need something to give them.
I know what it is. You give them a sticker. That's what Joanne does. And so
you give them a kiss. Give them a kiss on the mouth. They're not going to forget it.
Exactly, from Sticker Mule. Okay, so here's what I have. Number two. So Dylan, are you saying it's a properly rated over? Well, what's your call on that?
I think it's just slightly underrated, to where in this day and age right now, I think they're coming back and being important.
There's no slightly underrated. It's either fucking underrated.
It's leaning towards underrated.
It's either under fucking rated.
Andy, no. Fuck you. You can't tell me how to say
slightly
things.
Underrated isn't a choice. So it's underrated.
Well, I can say whatever I want.
I have this QR code.
Hold on. Can I scan it? It doesn't work on the computer.
Matthew Michael Marcotte made this for me, and it's just a QR code, and it's just my contact. And so if you're whatever, it's just right on my phone. It's kind of like Dot, I guess, but that's what I have been using. And so QR codes, though, is my next is number 2 over under, and not just for your contact, but just QR codes in general? What do you think? I might have asked this.
No,
before.
I started using them with I think it was the same one that Scott from King Screen was using on Monday. It was like free trial for a second, and then it starts charging per scan or something like that. Excuse me, or per QR code. And these guys love them. I can't get on them. I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. I think they're overrated. I'm just going to go straight overrated on that. Although I do use them on our like ink cartons to like get
I was going to say,
information.
I think
that.
As a business owner in your business and trying to organize things and trying to do whatever, I think QR codes are good. And especially like Andy was saying, like exchanging information. I think if you're just an average consumer, just a regular person, seeing QR codes all over the place is super annoying, especially when customers want to print a QR code on their shirt. It's like, dude, stop it. Like
I hate the shirt thing because then you have to test it to make sure it works. I was at I was in Atlantic City and we sat down at this brewery, and the fucking menu was a QR code.
Oh,
so like you
almost every place is that now.
I hate that.
I just went to an art opening recently that the price list, you had to scan a QR code and it opens everything up. Makes it so hard because as a sale, you need that sale right there. People need to know the price. They don't want to work for it. They want to look and they want to see it. So I struggle with the QR code thing, man.
The other part of that too is like if you go on a date or you're whatever, it's just making you pull your phones out. Like the whole idea is to sit down at dinner and put your phones away. Like now everyone at the table is on their phone for 10 minutes trying to figure out what they want to eat. Instead of just sitting there and talking and looking at the menu.
Then they're distracted.
Right, exactly. It's like just have. I know you don't want to have a menu out. You don't want people to touch it. You don't want to have to wipe them down. And I'm notorious for this at a Mexican restaurant, eating chips and salsa while I'm trying to order, getting salsa all over the menu. Like I'm sorry to all the Mexican restaurants I've done that to, but I don't know.
We're all over. We can agree. Overrated.
Yeah.
Andy?
I can see that.
Inside
Except
the shop,
for Kanban.
Inside the shop, Kanban stuff, it's underrated. But if we're out and about,
The real world,
no, over.
Get it out of here.
Number 3. I might have asked this one before too, but it's so important. It made it twice, and Gabe, you're on here twice too, so you're very important as well. But I have eggs, just eggs.
Like human eggs or like
no, so
like eggs for breakfast.
For breakfast, and not the bullshit. I'm talking bougie eggs, like the pasture raised, like the proper eggs.
Oh yeah. We love a good egg. Underrated, man. Love an egg.
Eggs are the best. I've literally thought about making a restaurant before called Just Eggs. Because I like eggs so much, where you just make all the different like kinds of eggs. Like it's just breakfast all day, but it's the focus is all the different ways to make eggs. I do have a comment
over under off of eggs.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay.
Hot sauce over or under on eggs?
Never done it. I don't really like hot sauce.
So salsa, yes, I love salsa with eggs, but I don't know about. What do you mean? Are you talking about like?
You just
sriracha or like what kind of
Valentina? Yeah, sriracha.
No, I've never tried it.
Put it on your breakfast sandwich next time. Fantastic.
I love diners. Diners are it's like my favorite. Breakfast food is my favorite. I just like a classic, and we just got done talking about this at the shop the other day because we have a diner right down the road where we're like, when are we going to get to that point in our lives where we're just regulars at the diner every morning before we come to work?
I like that.
Why do we not just walk in? We get 2 eggs over easy, 2 slices of toast, a coffee, and then we go to work.
It's the way to start the day right there.
Right. Fuck yeah.
Flex. Yeah, you need to get on that.
But that's what I'm saying is like when you're saying add all this stuff, like I am a salt and pepper, eggs over medium, white toast.
I mean, you want to talk wild. The place, when I moved to town here, the place next door, they do a breakfast sandwich with sauerkraut on it. And I thought that was probably the most disgusting thing in the world. And then I tried it and oh my God, it's incredible. So can't knock it. Right?
Yeah. I've moved to, I just was real quick. I've moved to buying eggs in 2 dozen at a time. It used to be a dozen.
Whoa.
I moved up. I buy 2 dozen eggs at a time now. That's how many eggs
me too.
we go through. All right.
You do kimchi or anything? You just drop some eggs in there, fry them up. Oh man. Eggs all day.
Well, I was saying I'm a diner person, and another buddy of mine, Tony Tinyfish, is a diner person as well. And I have to say to him, he sent me a text the other day, RIP, because his local diner is closing.
Ah,
You should buy
And
it.
me
He
and
loves
him have
buying
been to
things.
that diner eating there. Yeah, he should buy it. Truly should. Okay. Was that
There we
your
go.
last over under?
that's it.
Last
Yeah.
one?
That is it,
Severely
Gabe.
underrated for eggs.
There's no severely or slightly or whatever.
All right. Well, fuck you. I guess I'll just sit here and be censored by
I'm
Andy
okay.
all
No,
day
you
long,
know,
man.
with eggs, I'll allow it. I'll allow it with eggs. Massively underrated. I'll allow
Every
it.
now and then I get a little upset tummy though from them. I will admit it. If I have too many
Maybe
eggs,
it's the sauerkraut. Maybe you're thinking, or the sriracha.
Yeah, you're not talking about the eggs. You're talking about all this shit you're adding on top of eggs. You're talking about kimchi and shit. Put that away. Just eat your eggs.
Drink your milk.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh, okay.
That was
All
it.
right. Well, fuck yeah. Well, Gabe, I'm glad you came on with us, man. I know that was a thing that went on. I'm glad you kind of took it down because you wanted to get your heartache out, but you got it out, and then you decided it's best not to be an asshole and keep it up forever and have your customers hate you and everything else.
Yeah, you got to think about all your bigger picture. You know, I mean, it's easy to want to get super frustrated and super mad. And, you know, I think there's a big thing happening right now with all of us trying to use these filters and automations and stuff to make us do less work. But at the same time, we have a manual labor business. Like we are people facing. Like we need to be human. We need to interact with them, and sometimes just ignore the fact that they hurt your feelings.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. You need to be more human. I like that. It's very good, Gabe. Thank you.
Like it.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, thanks, man. We'll talk to you later.
You got it. All right, guys. Sounds good. Good to see you.
Later, dude.